going on, everybody? This is your girl, Yanni Taylor. Welcome to another edition of Black Trends and Beautiful. Thank you all for chiming in and just coming to listen. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification and show us love. This helps keep this podcast going. I love y'all so much. I pray that your week is going well. I'm not going to apologize for not coming to you all with a new episode on last week. The normal time that I record, and this podcast normally posts on Thursdays. Yes, I'm going back to Thursdays. So, and I do apologize for the lackadaisicalness in scheduling. However, I do not apologize for last week, for the revisit of Mystic June. That was necessary for me to do. And the reason why it was necessary, there was a situation in my household, and in my family, so to speak, that we experienced a great loss. And I'm still in that grieving process. So bear with me if sometimes I'm talking, I may start crying or be triggered during certain subjects. I'm going through a rough time right now, but thanks be unto God that always causes us to triumph. I wish I had a witness in here right now. I wish I had a witness. Come on and bless him. 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 Amen. So, in this week, there has been a lot of things that have transpired, honey. There's been a lot of things that have transpired. I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but Gurl, here we go again, honey. So, apparently Gurl was preaching a sermon, and she makes a statement saying, that she told her critics that they need to get a life. She's blessed and that she's moved into I forgot how many millions of dollars worth of church, and we know that she is avid about calling the LGBT community perverted, say that they're embarrassing the church, and different stuff like that, especially in 2017 when she made the comments about, people were going to die and all this kind of crap. The normal hellfire and brimstone. Well, this week, there was another incident where she was calling herself getting her critics together. And she says, well, can I announce this to y'all? Ooh, to y'all who say, ooh, I'm arrogant. Get a life. You get a life. You don't know what I've been through. You get a life and do it quickly, because I'm talking from experience. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just aware. And she's like, folks be one way then one day, and then the next they change on you. And then she goes on to say that she thought LGBTQ meant let God be true quickly. She says, I ain't know what LGBTQ meant. All I know it means to be is let God be true quickly. Now, Kim, how long did you spend on coming up with that acronym? And she goes on about people being scared to preach the gospel and all of that, and bringing on her $12.3 million edifice that she's moving into, which I'm noticing that people, especially people like Gurl, have an obsession with the black, queer, and trans communities. I'm like, I don't know what it is. Now, granted, if you believe that it's a sin, that's you. But me personally, I feel that there's a way to approach certain things without coming off like the rear end of a donkey. And I'm not going to sit here and bash her, because Gurl is a great singer. Gurl is a fabulous artist. But like I told a good friend of mine, Gurl is one of those people that should be seen and not heard talking. She just needs to sing, be seen, and sit down. Because obviously people are being offended. And it's not just the LGBTQ community or the same gender loving or SGL. It is also people in ministry that are being offended. Straight people that are being offended. Because you can tell when somebody is speaking from a spiritual standpoint versus when they're speaking from an area of virality or bitterness or anger. And then on top of that, there's this attitude of arrogancy that just slays me. It absolutely slays me. Every time. It never fails. It slays me, honey. it slays me. Like, I'm like, girl, do you know that you are committing career suicide? And, granted, in today's society, just like the whole situation with Mario Lopez, when he made the comments about people with transgender children are playing a dangerous game, when you say certain things, instead of trying to educate and understand, and you just speak out the gate because that's what you believe, that's what you know to be true. Okay. And stuff like this, and no, I'm not going to say preaching against sin, no. But if you see someone in the fault, you're supposed to approach them in love. That's what the word says, right? For those that read their Bibles. My thing is, why are you coming at and treating people that may sin differently than you, like, or as if they are less than, and that you are so much better than them? And that's what this whole thing is. Just like when she fell in them shoes, honey. I'm like, girl, them shoes was not meant for you. Just stand in one place, honey. Like, don't be a braggart. And if you have to publicly address your critics, that means that you are a hit dog, and only a hit dog hollers. It never fails. It never ever fails, in my book. And I've learned that in this life, whenever you've done something to somebody or said something and they have to combat that, they hit and they wound it. And I may be wrong. Lord, forgive me if I am. Ancestors, forgive me if I'm wrong. But I feel like she's speaking from a wounded place. And right now, Kim, you are messing up your career. You are really messing up your career, because my thing is, people want to speak against certain types of people, but you don't mind them doing your hair, doing your nails, doing your faction, laying your tracks on your songs, doing music for you, but you want to attack them. Don't use me as your prized possession. I'm not going to allow you to prostitute my gift to make you look good, darling. It doesn't work that way. Just like people like to use black folks as the token black person, but then talk about how bad black people are. Like Diamond and Silk being all up and through Donald Trump's behind. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Go sit down somewhere. So, that's just my cup of tea. That's just where I stand with that. That's just where I really stand. Oh, yeah. But in other news, I am releasing a single called Unwanted. Many of you that follow me on social media have seen me posting about this. This single is called Unwanted. Yes, that is a dear and near song to my heart. If you're on my Instagram, YannickTMusic, and follow me on Twitter, I have posted the links and everything. It'll be available on August 3rd. On all musical outlets. If you want an early bird special, go to yannicktaylor.bandcamp.com to get that. I love you all so much. Thank you all who have been supporting and loving the single. And I'll have links to certain things, to everything in my show notes. If you want to support this podcast, you can donate to my Cash App or to my PayPal, or either support the bonus materials that I'm doing. And again, I'm just so grateful and thankful, because you are such great people that support me, that share, that will even comment. And don't forget to leave us a freaking review. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, everywhere that you can find this podcast, because that helps me grow. That helps me know where I need to improve on. It lets me know if I'm doing a good job or not, or if I'm boring y'all to tears. So, but I do want to talk about an incident that happened in Chicago. Sadly, two mothers that had been fighting against violence in Chicago were killed. They were killed on a corner that they monitor. And it was in a drive-by shooting. Two Chicago mothers who had devoted their lives as activists to end gun violence lost their lives Chantel Grant and Andrea Studemeyer were shot and killed on Friday, this past Friday, and pronounced dead at a local hospital. Two other people were also injured. However, they believe that the men that were involved in this protest may have been intended targets of the shooters. They're still searching for the shooters and no arrests have been made. And this is just so horrible that these women who were fighting against gun violence in the community lost their lives tragically, fighting in a manner against what they were fighting against. And that just hurts my heart. That really does hurt my heart. And for mothers to be killed in a place where mothers go to seek safety and sisterhood, that's a personal threat, according to Mass founder Tamar Manessa. So they do have a GoFundMe set up to help raise money. And I'm going to post that in the link section as well of this podcast. I do feel like that should be a part of this. So y'all, please go support. Like, we're going to stand against fear. We're going to stand against this. And even to the shooting, my prayers go out to the victims of those that were affected by the horrific shooting in Gurl, California at the Garlic Festival this past weekend. Got home from church Sunday and I found out that a 6-year-old and a 13-year-old and other people had been injured and killed in this. And my heart wept. My heart really wept. It's just so much going on. This guy, the shooter who is now dead, I'm not going to call his name because he does not deserve that. They found out that he had neo-Nazi propaganda manifestos on his social media. He cut the wire to this fence where it was a heavily secured area. Security looking out to them, looking out and searching the people, checking the people. He went in and shot up the people, and just hearing the various stories. My prayers goes out to the families and those that are affected, those that have lost loved ones from gun violence and this tragedy. So, and I am a strong proponent for gun control. People can say whatever they want. I stand for gun control. I don't believe in taking away guns, but if, you have a hatred or have some tendencies, then you don't need a gun. Like, they need to look at your social media. They really need to look at your social media because you are a threat. And my thing is, they want to keep certain types of people out of this country, but we have homegrown domestic terrorists terrorizing us more so than anybody else. You ain't got to agree and you ain't got to like it. I don't care. So this is my channel. This is my podcast. I say what the heck I want to say. So it is what it is. But I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to be back with you shortly. I have some church announcements I'm going to share with you all. So y'all live, love, and be free. And I'm going to be back in a jiffy. Welcome back. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Okay, that's enough of me trying to sing like Dorinda Clark Cole on Tonight, one of my idols. So, which I will get to see in September, y'all. But no, what I wanted to talk about in the second part of Black Trans and Beautiful's episode tonight. Many of you all remember back in the 90s, TV shows like Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, various TV shows did the segment or had segments centered around the transgender and the queer community. One of my favorite ones was, as a kid then, I didn't know no better because I was like a teenager living in South Carolina at the time and was taught a certain way about the queer and trans community. And here I am, the gayest and of them all and transgender myself, not realizing who I was and fighting who I was. But I remember watching vividly on Jerry Springer how they would have these episodes where they would have the title of I'm Really a Man. And in this particular episode, Jerry Springer, they would have a they would have a transgender woman or someone to portray as trans to act like they were in love with this person, that they were dating this person, they were planning on getting married, but that they had been born male. And the title would be I'm Really a Man. Or there's been a couple of I'm Really a Woman. And what happened is these people would find out that the person that they were dating or with, they would either come out the closet as transgender, as gay, bisexual, or whatever. And I was thinking about this at work, and I had been thinking about this for quite some time. I'm like, y'all, do we not realize how shows like that were very problematic for the queer and trans community? Now, granted, in the 90s, we didn't have social media like we do now. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have blog spaces. You had to be up there to have a website. In the 90s or something, we didn't have all of the advancements in technology and communication and getting information out as we do now. And thinking about it, it was very problematic. I will never forget this one episode. It was a black trans woman, and it had to deal with, she was dating this guy, and he was thinking about proposing to her. And I have to find this episode. It's a couple of episodes of someone that I know personally that was on there that, took part in the shenanigans. And we all know that most of these shows are people that are actually paid actors looking to make a quick buck and embarrassing themselves. I even find it problematic with these shows about the paternity test of people. Even like some of these court shows is problematic as hell, because I'm like, if you already knew that man was not the child's father, or y'all were lying about who these people's parents were, that's something y'all need to work out amongst yourselves and seek therapy. Because now, you're making not only black people look bad, but you're making the trans community look bad as a whole. But anyway, back to what I wanted to talk about. So, I remember this episode, this trans woman, I remember her wearing a green dress and had a nice updo that was real popular during the millennial ages, so to speak. And she said, I want to let you know I was born a man and that I'm a trans woman. This was like in the late 90s. And I remember watching this and having fun with it. And now thinking about it, that was problematic as hell. Because the guy was like, oh, I just thought you were some kind of freak hoe. And this adds so much to a certain narrative that trans women, number one, are tricking people. That trans men are tricking people. That queer individuals are undercover and spreading disease. I remember one episode that it was a lesbian couple actually. And this woman thought her lover was a man. She said, I'm really a woman. And this woman blatantly says out of her mouth, you could have gave me AIDS or something. Not understanding that HIV and AIDS. And the reason why I'm saying that you need to listen to them is because they bring the shits. They bring the shits. They bring the shits, honey. Okay? And I honestly, and again, they would have this this episode where they would guest people and have these people performing, and they had some female entertainers. And I remember one episode where this woman said, I'm actually a trans woman, and people were applauding her, but you could hear some people booing. And I'm like, this is an issue. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is an issue. This adds to the narrative that trans people are doing this for attention and that we're confused, that we're nasty and perverted, but we're just human beings. We know who we're called to be, who we really are. And it really hurts my heart to see such things like this. And granted, in today's society, that wouldn't work. That would not work at all. That would not work at all. Like, for real. I will never forget also looking at some of these episodes, how they would have a love triangle between a trans woman or someone that was cross-dressing or someone that was a drag queen, you know, or someone that was gender non-binary, gender non-conforming. And it would be this big thing like the straight woman and this presumably straight man were in a relationship, but he was cheating on her with a trans woman or with somebody that was gay. And, you know, it added a spectacle to the whole down low phenomena. Or this whole thing that you need to watch your man if he got gay friends because he might be gay. Even some of my favorite comments back in the 90s had this thing, honey, you need to watch your man. Check his drawers. Stupid stuff like that. And me personally, I've been guilty of it because that was the type of behaviors that were ingrained in me. I didn't know any better. But now looking back on it, that was problematic. And that caused a lot of transgender people, a lot of queer people to go into stealth mode. Granted, we had a lot of transgender forerunners like Miss Majors, Miss Sylvia Rivera, the late Marsha P. Johnson, which is the very reason why we as gay people, as trans people, have the rights that we have today. They fought for us. And surely now, thankfully, you know, I don't even watch Maury Povich or Jerry Springer because I'm like, it's just crazy as hell, if you ask me, you know. It's crazy as hell to me, you know what I'm saying? And I never thought I would see the day to where I was actually thinking about stuff like this. But that stuff was really problematic, y'all. It really was problematic. Like, oh my gosh. It was really problematic. And I'm under the standpoint to where it really didn't have to be that problematic. You know what I'm saying? But granted, this was the 90s. Although it did add visibility, it did not offer a chance to really educate people, to open up that discussion about what it means to be gay, queer, transgender, non-binary, things like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just crazy. Like, for real. And the fact that violence against queer and trans people is actually normalized, it really hurts to the core. It really hurts to the core. And to me, I feel like this also is the reason why we have so much stigma already. That there has been a slow progression towards being accepting of trans and queer people because of things like this. And these are just my thoughts and opinions. So if you're listening to this, please, if you're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or Stitcher, please sound off. Tell me what you think about all of this. Let me know what you think about what I am saying about shows like this being problematic, you know. So, I'm out. Y'all live, love, and be free from the priestess. Smooches to you. Don't forget to follow us on all outlets where you have this podcast. So, I love y'all so much. Smooches to you. Love y'all.